This week on the True Geordie Podcast, the three-time BMX world champion who did things the world had never seen before, and his name is Stephen Murray. But after a freak accident, Stephen's challenge in life would no longer be learning tricks on his BMX, but learning how to breathe again.
You know when you see a lion hunt, and it'll take the jugular of an animal. That's what I felt like I was like the whole time. But someone's breathing for me, so in your mind you want to take more breaths, but you got to just stay on however it's breathing for you. You see someone that's paralyzed, and that's all you see. You don't see all the other complications and health things that come with it. The pneumonias, the urinary tract infections, the sores, it's just
there's a lot more than just not being able to move physically. There's a hell of a lot more.
Fucking hell, I'm in the X Games, man. I can't. Alright, I'm gonna fucking win the X Games. I'm not just going there to take part. I'm gonna go and win. You stripped of the money, you stripped the materials, the house, the cars, and then you start to see who you real people are. Just sitting up, our bed, just straight sitting up. As soon as I came up past 45 degrees, I'd pass out. And so then you had to learn to build that up. It's just very small increments. The whole picture just starts to spin slowly, and then it starts winding up faster and faster, until a point where I try to control it and I can't, and it's just spinning faster and faster, and then flatlined again, third time. Everyone's entitled to hope.
Today on the True Geordie Podcast, a world champion,
multiple world champion,
three times if you're counting, BMX Dirt Jumping champion.
Incredible.
Stephen Murray, mate. Thanks for coming, Paul.
Yeah, welcome, man. Thanks.
It's been a long time coming. We've been trying to make this happen for a while, mate. I'm really glad you could make it.
Yeah, finally we're here.
And funny turn of events, we went to the same high school.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
That is mad, isn't it?
John Spence Community High School.
Thanks for nothing. Personally, I've just got to say to John.
Did you two both have the same experience of high school then? Were you similar in high school?
I'm sure we did have a pretty similar experience in that school.
So your career is one of the most famous ones, like in the BMX, in the X Games community, because you had this meteoric rise and then this accident that sort of changed your life forever.
Yeah.
What is it like to have gone from what it seems like living through your body completely for most of your life and all the experiences you can have with this bit of equipment, to then having that taken away from you and then having to live through your mind much more than you have done in the past? Yeah,
it's wild, man.
Yeah.
All of a sudden things come to a halt, and the first memory I have is just being waking up on the bed and it's like I was in a straitjacket, and I realized fuck, I can't move, and then it's the reality starts to kick in, and but to be honest, I didn't think about it too much in the beginning because I was in a trauma unit. There was I was just I had 1% chance of surviving it.
Jesus.
That's what the doctors gave me, 1%, and yes, so I was in survival mode for 4 weeks.
Can you take us through what happened on the day of, was it like any other normal competition, or were you feeling a bit off that day?
No, I'd never been more dialed on my bike. I never felt better. It was I went through a patch before that I went around the wrong avenue, I drink and drugs and all that, and until I really hit rock bottom, and then it was picking the pieces up. And
Was there a reason for that? Because I know the community, like, they're extreme people who do what you did, like, and they like to live extreme, party extreme. So, or were you feeling down, or was there a reason you did it?
Nah, I just think, I was a young kid, 20 years old, and then, you went in like 100, 150 grand in 2 weeks, and you got no family out there, and it's just sometimes you make bad decisions, and then you go down that route until all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? One time I wake up in my kitchen, and I've just got like cough syrup all over me, and there's pills everywhere, and I was like, what am I doing? Yeah. So that was what made me realize, you're really fucking up, kid.
Yeah.
So then I spent 6 months just rebuilding myself, and I just always remember, I'm like, I gotta think like a champion again, because that's what's gonna get me to, start winning contests again. So every day I start thinking, what would a champion do? How would, every single little detail, until 6 months later I'm feeling fantastic, bro. I flew to Baltimore. It was the first round of a Mountain Dew tour. There's 5 rounds, and so this is the first one. So I really wanted to prove to myself, you know what I mean, that I can get back on my game and I can be on top. So we have 2. I need to take a drink.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm not sure if you've made it clear that you lived in California. I didn't catch that. I don't know if you
We can definitely ask
Don't
that
worry
as well.
about that. We'll worry about that.
We'll go into that.
We'll get there, yeah. Right, what was that? So
you were on the way to Baltimore.
yeah, on my way to Baltimore, first round of the Mountain Dew tour. Well, with BMX Dirt Rider, and you have 3 runs, 2 to count. So the first one went down, it went amazing. Everything went perfect. I'm like, right, it's on. One more run in the bag, and I'm gonna win this, yeah? Went back up on the roll-in, dropped in, there's 4 jumps. So every jump went amazing, just like I planned. And then the last set, I wanted to do a double backflip.
And you're quite famous for this one, aren't you?
That's what made me, pretty much. Yeah. And I came in, and I just slid out. I banged my head, and I was concussed. But I needed one more run, so it was like, you just shake off all that, and head to the Star Hill up the rolling. And the people were like, you shouldn't take this run, and I just want to push through it. So when I got back up on the Star Hill, it was like, man, I just crossed my heart and said a prayer in my head and went down, and everything went amazing up until the last jump. And I'm going off this last jump, and I spin, and I tuck in tight to do the rotation. And my left foot just slipped off, and it was a freak accident. I didn't know what was up, what was down, left or right. I was completely discombobulated in the air. And everything was like silent. I was just like waiting. And I landed straight on the parking lot from about 25 foot. And it just snapped my neck and just made me stop breathing. I was knocked out. But I remember waking up on the floor, and the medics are over me. All my friends are around me. And he just looked me dead in the eyes like, Stephen, this is a life or death situation. Let me breathe for you. And I'm just thinking, fuck. So he intubated me, stuck tubes down my throat and stuff. He has this bag called Ambu bag. you start pumping it, and you know, in effect, it inflates your lungs, and I just focused on the medic, and then yeah, when I got into the ambulance, I flatlined in the ambulance, and if it wasn't for the trauma center being like 5 miles away, like I wouldn't have made it. There's no way I wouldn't have made it. And with the the amazing medical team that was around, and yeah, just the circumstances had to be the way they were for me to be able to make it. So when I got to the trauma center, I flatlined there again, and then I spent 4 weeks just living in hell. And it was like a square, like nursing station with rooms all around it, and on average, someone was dying every 15 minutes. It was a crazy place.
And did you know that around you, or could you sort of hear things from in and outside the room?
Well, I just heard stories from my family and friends that would,
Wow.
I didn't know anything outside the room, and I went through like psychosis, where I'd been up for like 3-4 days. They're just pumping you full of drugs, and
what was that like? What did that feel like?
Oh, it's crazy. I thought I was in like a drug lab, and they were using me for an experiment. And
were you just mind playing tricks on itself?
Yeah. I mean, as strong as you've got to be in that survival moment. Yeah, it's crazy the way the mind works, and the things that the body can do. Like, and when you're in them moments, you just like flight mode, and then I thought I was laid in my bed. My room is attached to bungees. It was on a slant, and the window was behind us. I felt like I was like hanging out the window. Yeah, so lots of crazy moments like that. But so after 4 weeks, I got.
Can I just ask, mate? Like when your family come to see you for the first time, were you told at that point, or who told you that you were paralyzed? Was it the doctors?
Yeah, the doctors.
Then
my mom. Then my mom like reiterated it to me.
Right.
Explained exactly what was going on.
How did you digest that? Like, how did it?
Mate, to be honest, when that happened, I had tubes down my nose, my throat. It was, communicating. The first time I had to communicate, they brought a letter board out. So they would just like point to each letter, and then you just like blink your eyes, And then I just spelled a Bible, because I was at such a low point, man. It was like I had to grasp for something that was gonna give me the strength to get through it, So my mom just lost it when I spelled that out, But
I watched an interview with your mum, like right after it happened, and I could really relate, because I know a lot of women like her from like the northeast area, and that,
Yeah.
And I felt like it's someone I knew, and she described her emotions watching you there, because there was a part of her that you were in a hospital bed, but it hadn't really occurred to her that you weren't going to be able to get up and walk again afterwards. It was like, all right, he's bad off the accident, but you'll get back to where he was. And she said it was when you were first in a chair and your hand dropped off the chair, and she said, and I had to lift his hand back on, and I realised that it felt like a dead weight. And she said, and only then did the penny drop that this is paralysis, like this is what I'm dealing with now. Yeah. And she broke down at the end of that, bless her. She was really emotional.
Yeah, strongest woman in the world, man. My mum's my rock for holding everything together, the family together.
Yeah.
I mean, Dad's amazing too. Brother.
How did the family, did you see their reactions, or did they sort of hide it from you at the time?
You know what? Nobody felt pity or none of that. everyone was so positive, man. And that's the thing, is just to maintain that positive attitude and just to, not let anything negative come in your way, because you're trying to survive, man. You're trying to get through this. You can't go down the wrong avenue, So I spent 4 weeks, man. It's just that it was, I'm clinging on to life by a thread. And after 4 weeks, I got accepted into his rehabilitation in Denver. And it's the #1 hospital in America for weaning people off ventilators.
Mm.
So I was like, I need to be there. That's where I need to be.
Because you wanted to breathe on your own.
Yeah. It's the most horrible thing in the world, having a machine breathing through you like that.
Can you describe it, mate? Like, what does it feel like?
When you see a lion hunt, and it'll take the jugular of an animal. That's what I felt like I was like the whole time. But someone's breathing for me, so in your mind you want to take more breaths, but you got to just stay on however it's breathing for you.
You don't regulate it yourself. It's all...
Nah, it's all custom to you. Yeah. I got a drink.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
We'll get on the up and up in a minute. Haha.
I'm finding this fascinating, personally, honestly. Like, I've never spoken to anyone who's been through this in my entire life.
Yeah.
How will it fun, all right?
Oh, good.
So you're off to Denver?
Denver, Colorado, yeah. Rehabilitation called Craig.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on my way from the trauma unit, and so I get into the ambulance, and they're taking me to the airport, to a Learjet, so I can get there quick without any complications. And so I'm on the ambulance, I'm on my way to the airport. When you're drunk, when you're younger, like wasted, you lay down and you close your eyes and you get the spins.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, I think I'm going to throw up a minute. It was like that, but my eyes were wide open and I'm looking at the roof of the ambulance and the whole picture just starts to spin slowly. And then it starts winding up faster and faster until a point where I try to control it and I can't. And it's just spinning faster and faster, and then flatlined again, third time.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In an ambulance on your way to a jet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I came to, it was like all of a sudden it was a real white light, and then it went to like colors, different crazy colors, and then the picture just appeared. All the medics are over me, and they just brought me back round, and like, do you realize what happened? I'm just like, nah. So that to bring me back to a hospital to stabilize me, and then it was back to that trauma unit. They still had my room open.
Jesus.
And I had to stay there for another week.
Just as you thought you were getting out as well.
Yeah.
Did they tell you what did happen and why you flatlined again?
I mean, there was just so much damage to my neck. Because of the nature of the injury, the phrenic nerve to the lungs or to the diaphragm, that was paralyzed. So my right diaphragm is completely paralyzed. My left one is partially, so only operate on 75% of a lung, of a diaphragm. So I had to learn, so it was just really sketchy, my breathing was super sketch. So I had to learn how to, talk again. To be able to space my words out, to be able to have a conversation.
You seem to do really well with that. Like, when I watched the videos back of the rehab, I was impressed with how quickly you seem to get back to talking. Like,
yeah.
I would imagine you broke the record, to be honest.
Yeah, it was it's wild, man. It's just a crazy ride.
One thing that I was struck by was just positivity, and that, like, I have to survive, like, and that will to live, because a lot of people, when they go through something so traumatic, they don't have your outlook and they don't have that mentality of a champion.
Yeah.
And some of them actually wish it would just end, and I know your mother said on the video I watched, she actually was scared of that, like, that you would go down. Did you ever have those times where you would go right down and just wish it would end? Or
to be honest, maybe about 2 years after I got hurt, I had moments where it flashed across my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, that's it. But now I would tell my mom, you know, because you can't keep that stuff bottled in.
Yeah.
And that's where people end up going down the wrong road, because they can't get it out of their head. They can't talk about it, so, you know, it just leads you down, you know, the wrong path.
Because she was really worried about that. Like, on this video I watched, she was saying that she actually said to someone at the time, do people who are paralyzed ever commit suicide? She'd asked one of the doctors, and they'd said no, but because they can't actually do that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to do as it is.
Yeah.
But it definitely was a concern of hers, and it's good that he's had that connection where you could offload onto her. And she's like your best friend as well as your mum.
Oh man, she's everything, man. Yeah. And you know, I've got 2 kids, and they were very young at the time. Mason was like 2.5, Seth was 4.5, almost 5. So, you know, Dad had to be around for him.
Were they the fire in the belly? Were they?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
That's quite a shift for them as well, isn't it? Knowing their dad being one extreme lifestyle, and then the other way as well.
Yeah, you know what, my youngest son, Mason, he's very young.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really know any different, you know? My eldest son, Seth, he's almost 15 now, but he, you know, I taught him how to ride a bike, and I just took him everywhere. I did everything with him. So he remembers that to this day. But the kids are amazing, man. Yeah. They're just, you know, they don't see any different. It's not.
There was a couple of moments on the videos where, to be honest with you, mate, I was ready to fucking cry. Like, because I think it was your youngest climbed on you on the chair. He was giving you a hug and all of that, and you were taking him looking for shopping for trainers or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really felt for you, because as a man who can just pick a kid up and take them down like you obviously were able to, I felt bad that that's being stripped away from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I loved the emotion came from watching your kid just not caring at all and being all over you. Like, they don't care, do they?
Yeah, no,
you know
not
what I
at
mean?
all. Not at all.
Yeah, they're very loving kids, like.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I live for, you know what I mean?
You must have gone through your own process, though, of sort of, because, you know, as positive as you are, you still have to come to terms with a real change in lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously you say you went through the dark moments, but how did you go through that? What was that like to accept that, you know, you're not going to ride a bike anymore, you're not going to be competing with you know, the X Games and things like that?
Right. Yeah, it's I'm just always thinking of what I can do next. Like, how can I keep my mind busy? You know, what can I fill my day up with? Just always finding things to do. That's what pulled me out of all the, you know, little slumps I was in. And just having great people around me, man. Like, my friends have been unbelievable, man. Amazing.
Yeah,
and,
when people go through things like this, you see that there are some people who will grab you and want to be around you all the time, but then there's other people who can't bear the thought of, because you were an icon of the sport, and you were like, you were 6'2", big handsome lad, shredded, and you know, you were flying through the air. You were like someone people would idolise. And some people can't bear the thought of having to come and see you when you're not that guy. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Was there many people who just deserted you? Or?
Yeah, yeah, some of my close friends didn't know how to deal with it. Some people can come in and hit it straight on, you know, and others, they didn't know how to deal with scenery, you know, and they wouldn't be around either. So
how did that make you feel?
It was disappointing, man. Yeah, it was disappointing, but I also had some great people around me, man. So I didn't dwell on that too much, you know. I just did what I had to do and whatever for my kids or you know, my family, and that's it.
I guess that's the thing. For some people, do find it quite hard to accept those, because it's a massive shift, not only for you and maybe selfishly for those other people, for them as well, not having that same sort of relationship anymore.
Yeah, you know what? Mine was quite. My accident was quite. You know, it's quite exposed. There was a lot of exposure. On it. But you know, there's millions of people out there that are, you know, that don't have that, and they're going through this more with not as many tools, I guess, as what I had to get me through this.
That's a good point, yeah.
So to them people, I would just say, you know, as hard as it is for you to go through this, the best thing you can do is just open up your mind and just talk to someone, you know what I mean? And it just offloads everything, makes it a lot easier.
For want of a better word, do you think you went through somewhat of a grieving process of losing something?
I definitely. I mean, you know, I was not a BMX rider anymore.
Yeah.
I'm still at heart, I am, but
you can actually tell as well. That's there's a.
I've seen the way you're welcomed into the community whenever you turn up at an event. It's like Elvis is. You know what I mean?
You have the demeanour of a BMX rider. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I tell you what, the action sports community have been just unbelievable, man. Like the amount of support that they give me, I can't thank them enough. It's amazing.
Do you still follow the sport?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
You sort of sponsored some of the lads with this Staying Strong brand and the clothing that you've started doing. Why did the word Staying Strong mean so much to you?
Well, after my accident, the following BMX event, they had these Rockstar, you know, energy drink Rockstar.
Yeah.
They had these t-shirts made, and they just said "Stay Strong" on the front. And they had my name on the back.
Wow.
And all the riders wore it at that following one. And it was just a message of, you know, you can do this. You know, just no matter what you're going through, just stay strong.
How did that make you feel watching them?
It was really cool, man. It was really humbling, yeah. It was so from there, I was like, all right, well, what am I gonna do that can be, you know, I could make a living off, but also do it with a purpose and a meaning, you know?
Yeah.
And that was the birth of Stay Strong. That was it, and then it developed into a clothing line to begin with, and now it's a bike company too. So
it doesn't actually sound like there was a very long time between you sort of picking up sort of some of the threads that you see now, like your book and the clothes and the bikes. They're not very long between the accident and that actually starting. So it doesn't really sound like you had much time to sit around and think.
Well, that's the good thing.
Yeah.
Because you sit around and think, then, you know what I mean? That's not good for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, right after the accident, you know, I mean, I totally admit to, you know, I got hooked on the painkillers and you know, the Valiums and whatever, you know, all the stuff that the doctors throw at you, and you think in the beginning, you know, you really need that, but then after a while you're in this vicious cycle, you know, and
you become reliant on it, even if you've recovered as much as you're going to.
Yeah.
And you don't need that anymore. You just keep on doing it out of habit.
Because your mind's poisoned by the stuff, and you think you're entitled to having it after a while because you become addicted, you know. And I was going through an extreme amount of pain in the beginning, and then eventually.
That surprised me, because I would have assumed that you wouldn't have been able to feel like a great deal because of like my lack of education on this subject, to be honest with you. What kind of pain was it that you were going through?
Well, it was massive amount of pain in my neck
to
start with, and then one of the worst types of pain, like after the accident, was they say that you can't feel anything from where you're paralyzed, right? But my spinal cord is not completely severed.
Right.
It's partially severed. So there's still messages going down from the brain.
Right, okay.
Down to the body, but your nervous system is confused as to what the hell is going on. So I receive a lot of neuropathic pain. And it's like imagine like a wire, like as the nerve, and the nerve is inside of it. Well, it's like all that insulation around it. The rubber has been stripped, and it's just like firing pain. It's like you get a road rash when you fall off something onto the floor. Yeah, and imagine when it gets to the height of the pain. Well, that's what it's like, and it comes in waves. I can't still, 10 years later, I can't put a finger on it. Sometimes it's completely overwhelming. Sometimes it's fine. But I didn't even realize. I was such a mess on all these prescriptions. And
did it affect your personality?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then it you see video yourself, and then you'll be like, oh fuck, I need to pull myself out of this.
Yeah.
And and then it was and I ended up cleaning up, and I don't have that issue anymore.
Was that sort of completely alone, or were you? Because part of it is also my instant thought of an addict is someone who's quite alone, quite distant from everyone else.
Right.
But you actually have to have someone who not enables you, but gives you the drugs. So you've got someone who can actually monitor how many drugs you intake.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, that was the hard thing, is when I was going through that battle, was my caregiver lived with me full time. He didn't want to see me in pain, but at the same time, he knew there was a limit.
But he knew he was doing something not wrong, but kind of not right.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, you don't really. You just want to make sure that, I guess, looking from a carer's point of view, you don't want them to be in pain or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
did you ever get aggressive when you needed?
Nah. I wasn't itching and scratching and shit.
Where were you living during this time? Were you still living? Because one thing we haven't mentioned is you
lived in California. For
such
a
chill guy that you wanted to live in California. So as soon as you were 18, you moved over to California and got that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Newcastle, North Shields.
The California, of course, of England.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It is quite a free lifestyle. Seems nice.
To be honest, it's a lot more chilled out than fucking London.
That's what I was thinking. It is definitely. It seems a lot more chilled out when you go north.
Yeah, I love it there. Every time I go up, it's like, it just feels real. You know what I mean? But
and had you? Maybe we should start a little bit earlier than California, because had you always want to move to California, or did that become a dream
always,
at some point?
Yeah, always since I was 4 or 5 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you were a kid, we'll just go right back to the start. When you were a kid, did you just jump on a bike and think, "Fuck, I'm in love with this. This is it. This is what I want to do."
Yeah, 100%. I started just before my 3rd birthday.
Is that Jesus? That sounds quite young for something.
It's definitely young.
Yeah. My dad. I'd start BMX racing to begin with. My dad would push me up over the jumps. Have a little yellow Buzz bike with stabilizers. But yeah, that was it. I was hooked, and that was it. Just always wanted to be on my bike, always. And,
were you quite daring?
Oh yeah, I was terrible. Yeah, man, I put my parents through hell. Trips to the emergency room all the time.
Yeah. Broken arms.
What kind of personality would you class yourself as when you were a kid? Because obviously people are going to look at you and think, well, obviously you're a daredevil, but you come across as a very kind and gentle person, really. Yeah,
that's what I try to be. I just think, if you can, when you get a third chance at life, like, make the most out of it, and just do kind things, do positive things. It's a lot of built up, wasted energy trying to hate on something, isn't it? So yeah, that's that attitude I adopted, and I always had that, but there's a lot of things that it was just, it became, when you stripped of everything you got, you realize what you got. You realize you stripped of the money, you stripped of the materials, the house, the cars, the fun, all that stuff, and then you start to see who your real people are, and some of it was disappointing, but at the same time I didn't dwell on that. I just rode with all the positive people in my life.
It's funny how some people, when they go through something like you've been through, in a way it feels like you're getting robbed at the time, but when people look back on it, sometimes they think, actually, I wouldn't ask for that to happen to us, but now looking back on it, I gained a lot from that robbery.
Yeah. You know what? The good thing about it is I don't like blowing my own trumpet, but I've been able to help a lot of people. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't get hurt, or if I didn't take the path that I've chosen. So that's the great thing about that, is a lot of people they found inspiration from what I've been through.
I definitely have, yeah.
Thanks, man.
So sort of back to when you almost first were getting into biking, and you got, you say you were 3 when you first started.
Yeah.
And then you started getting into the dirt trails and the jumps and things like that, and your dad started pushing you around. And then when did you start to sort of just go down on your own and become a bit more independent?
When I was 4.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, and I just got hooked on it, and then when I was 5, I became British champion at 5.
5?
Yeah.
I couldn't even ride a bike at 5.
I couldn't even spell British champion at 5.
So that competition, the competitiveness inside me, very competitive. Yeah. And,
were you competitive with everything, not just bike? So like, if someone wanted to play a computer game with you? Yeah,
definitely.
So would you see someone else do something and you think, I want to do that too, or I can do that better?
I wouldn't say I would do that better, but if it seemed appealing or dangerous, I'll be right there.
Okay. So sort of anyone doing jumps, anyone backflipping, anyone sort of...
Yeah, well, there wasn't really too many people around where I lived that was into BMX, really.
Right, so it's quite a small circle, really.
Yeah. But, I would always be looking for, the biggest curb to jump off, or bunny hop over someone's bike, or, just... And
well, that's a weird thing, though. In Newcastle, like, this is a sport that is American, really, like, dominated by the Americans, and you were able to excel and go over there, improve that. The Geordie lads can do it.
That's right. Of course we can.
What is it about you, do you think, that made you a champion? What do you have?
I think it is from growing up at an early age and seeing role models and seeing the way they act, and seeing their attitudes, and seeing why are they a champion, what are they doing, like, and pay attention to every little detail, and only look to winners. That's what I wanted to be. So, so if I could take and adopt, certain personalities or things, then I had some amazing people around me. Growing up, just racing BMX, it'd be the same crowd, but you'd be traveling, all over England to start with, and then it became, all over Europe, and then all over the world. And you see this, thousands of amazing people, friends, and you're all traveling all over the world, doing what you love to do. So it's like, it's not a job.
That's important, isn't it? The fact that you loved doing it, that was your passion. But what I think is really interesting is you became famous for, was it the double backflip or something?
Yeah.
How do you think of that, and then how do you make that happen?
The first year in America, broke 8 bones in 7 months and
Jesus.
3 knockouts, and I was a mess. So over that winter, I started riding, really hard, and I learnt how to crash.
You went to America without knowing how to crash.
Well, no, because when I went to America, I was a BMX racer.
Yeah.
More than there wasn't really a career path in freestyle or in dirt jumping. It was fairly new, and so it was a dream of mine to be. I got a 2-year contract, but the first year I just broke myself up, and I had this doctor in Ipswich, and I used to go back there as soon as I got hurt. I'd go back there and I'd walk into his office and say I had broken. One time I had a broken collarbone, shoulder blade, and wrist, and this guy, he heals a lot of speedway riders, but what he does is, like, first you go in the hyperbaric chamber.
This is what Eddie Hall used, actually.
Yeah, mate, it's just unbelievable.
Good for recovery, yeah.
And healing, yeah. Your body's able to carry so much more oxygen to the joints. It's so I did that, and then I'll go into a room and you would put like it's God, I forget the name of it, like electromagnetic magnets, like over the brake.
Okay.
And what that'd do is it'd stimulate the healing.
Wow.
And it'd like draw all the bone healing properties from your blood to the injury, and then after that was done, it was you couldn't feel it, and then he would bring this massive laser out, and it was used to at first to heal racehorses. Like, a lot of people put millions into racehorses. Well, the horse breaks its leg, can it just chill out on the couch, can it, for 6 weeks? So it's a way of, in a sense, welding the bone together, knitting it together and making it solidify. So anyway, when this laser comes out, he puts it over the brake, and all that calcium and other properties of the blood that heal the bone, it gets drawn to there, and then the laser like hardens it.
Right.
So like within a week I'm back. It just doesn't even seem real. But literally I go in there. One time I went out with a collarbone, my shoulder blade, and my wrist, and 1 week later I was riding skate park. It's unbelievable.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So I would just do that and repeat. Every time I get hurt, I'd just bounce back to England.
Do you think that was, in a way, a bad thing for you, because it made you sort of not respect what was going on to your body and how bad it was on the body?
Nah, I wasn't even thinking of that.
That's what I mean, though.
Right.
Maybe if you'd taken it a bit more, fucking hell, eight bones broken, you maybe would have been a bit more careful potentially, or like,
you know what? I never let any of that set me back. At the end of the first year, let me take a drink.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Aha.
Is that the medication?
Yeah.
Dry your mouth out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pain in the arse, isn't it?
Nightmare. Right, where were we at?
So we're at the point where you've healed the bones, and then Brian said, did it sort of make you more careful?
I was asking about your state of mind, sort of thing of like, do you ever think that maybe you could have been more careful at that point, or?
No.
How old were you at that point? So you would have been 18 or 19 at that point?
Yeah, I was 19, 20, yeah.
So at that point in your life, you're still quite a relatively fearless guy, really.
I never broke a bone until I was 19, then I just broke 8 in 7 months.
So this is why it had come to your foresight.
Because that was the first year of me actually being paid to be a dirt jumper and not a racer. So I was moving into a new sport.
That's actually pretty amazing, though, isn't it? That you can go through that long on a bike. Had you had any serious accidents before you went, or do you think you were quite lucky?
Oh yeah, I had serious ones, yeah.
But before you went to California,
yeah,
but not broken any.
But no bones, no.
So I mean, lucky in a sense, but you obviously said the accidents.
Yeah, there's a lot of concussions.
Yeah, well, I mean, the concussions are quite serious. There's like a lot of research being done on them right now from people in all sports where, like, when you've had a lot of concussions over the years, it sort of ages the brain and stuff like that, and it can send people like
doolally.
Yeah, pretty much. They lose their mind at the end of it sometimes.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, do you ever look back and worry about that sort of stuff?
Nah, not at all, man. It's all good.
You're a no regrets kind of dude, aren't you?
Nah, exactly, 100%.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah. So, anyways, at the end of that horrific year, I started questioning myself if I should just go back home and go to university. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm gonna dig deep and I'm gonna ride hard. And over that winter, I mean, I got really, really good at what I was doing, and I got obsessed with it. And so the first contest of the year, it was like back then it was 4 runs, 3 count, and I'm up there with my idols, and all of a sudden you're on the same stage as them,
How did that feel?
Oh, well, to begin with, I was nervous around them people because all of a sudden you're sharing the stage with them and they're looking at you, and but at the same time, you can either look at them as being just so good at what they do, or you could be like, I can hang with these guys, So I'd practiced at that event over and over and over and over and over, leading up to it, and I knew I could win that contest. I just knew I could do it because I practiced so much. And then it came down to it was 4 runs, 3 count, and after the 3rd run, I'd won it. Wow. And that was the qualifier for the X Games. And
the X Games are the big show, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like the pinnacle for our sport.
Yeah.
So I had one more run. I was like, man, I'd seen people try double flips. I'd see them get broke off hard. I was like, I think I can do this. I got one more run.
Had you ever done it before?
Nah.
So this is the first time you ever tried it?
First time,
and in front of a crowd, you're going to do it now?
So you never completed this trick?
You'd never even tried it?
Never tried it, no.
And I think this probably shows his mentality more than anything.
Yes, I had one run, throw away, so I'm like, all right, so there's 4 jumps, and I go down, and I just pull up on the one before it and just get all the pump and just crank and then just hug yourself backwards. No technique, no form, just completely all wrong. To do that, you have to tuck in a ball to rotate. I was all penciled out, scorpion. It was horrific, and I came in and I nosedived the landing, bent my bike in half and knocked myself out. But I woke up and I qualified for the X Games.
Oh, I thought this story ended differently. I thought that you landed it and everyone was like, "Oh, you're already."
I was expecting the movie moment, the way he's built it up. He's like, "Put all me talking." And I'm like, "No, fucking flat in his face."
And that again sounds like another turning point where you.
He'd already won the competition.
You'd already won it. You got nothing to lose except a bike and I guess whatever else.
Brain.
But you see, you didn't land it. But that sounds like another sort of turning point where you realise that you could land it if you put your mind to it.
Exactly, yeah. So when I drove, what didn't really set in until I drove away from the contest. And I'm just driving and I'm like, fucking hell, I'm in the X Games, man. I can't. All right, I'm gonna fucking win the X Games. I'm not just going there to take part. I'm gonna go and win.
I love that.
And you serious? And this isn't sort of a deluded thought. This is something where you think I can actually win this.
110%. Yeah.
How did you? Why were you so sure? Is this inner self-belief, or is this you watch the X Games, you know you can beat these guys? What is it that you're drawing this belief from?
No, it's just inner self-belief in yourself. And I knew then that I had to go away and perfect the technique. And I knew I had to have another bang of a trick too. And the thing, so it was probably about 5 months until the X Games. And the thing that was so hard was keeping it under wraps from everyone else. And so I would go ride by myself when skate parks closed. I was good with the guy that owned it. And I'd be in there at like 11, 12 at night. And I'd be in like the foam pits. And I would just go over and over and over and over. And I started to perfect it. And then it just became like second nature. I could just, but I'm gonna keep doing it. Over thousands of them. And and then when I went to the X Games to Philadelphia, 2001, I was like, man, this is where Rocky is, man. Well, he's my hero.
It's actually a pretty special city when you arrive, isn't it? It is actually Philadelphia's a cool place. I've been there for a couple of days and it seems like it's amazing.
It's buzzing, the streets are buzzing.
You go and see the steps and you see like
did that day before.
Philly cheesesteak sandwich.
Ran up the steps,
yeah.
So the arena is packed. And this is your big day. You're now there at the X Games. Was there stiff competition that day as well? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that the best of the best then?
The best of the best, yeah.
Can I just ask one question? You say you do all the foam pitting for quite a while. Had you actually landed it before you went to the X Games? So there was no point where so had you only basically landed into a foam pit before? You
know what? I tried it once at a contest, maybe a couple of months before.
Yeah.
It was after the contest. And, you were feeding off each other, the riders. And then, the contest was over, but I knew I had this in my head. I got to nail this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I did it, I came around, landed, and just blew my feet off.
Right.
That doesn't count. You got to ride away clean.
You've got to land it perfectly.
Yeah. So
like a gymnast.
Yeah. And the window of opening up to land in a double flip is very small. You're spinning so fast, and
it takes a lot of power to do this. Like you're a muscular lad, weren't you? And you're literally having to throw your whole body weight and get the technique right and everything and land it perfectly. This is like one of the hardest things a human being can do.
I think that's probably one of the problems of watching the X Games, is by the end of the X Games you're like, I could do that.
Yeah, like
they make it look easy.
Yeah,
exactly, and that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
So it was qualifying. I think I qualified 4th, and then the next day was practice for the finals. And this is the key thing that really won me the contest. We're practicing for the finals, and there's like a big roll-in on one end that you start off on. It's maybe about...
How high is that, yeah?
I'd say it was probably 40 foot tall.
Fuck.
Just steep. You had to skid all the way down it. Well, you had to skid 2/3 of the way down, then let your brakes off. Just go. And then, so there was 3 jumps one way, and then you go up onto a massive big roll-in again, and you kind of regroup, get your shit together. And then, so I was on there, and I remember seeing like TJ Laren and Ryan Nyquist and Corey Anastasio. These are all people that, these are winners, and could win the contest. And I was like, all right, I'm going to drop in now deliberately in front of them, and I'm going to do this double flip in practice. And I dropped in and I just nailed it. It was perfect. And I landed, it was just like, fucking right. Yeah, you just get mobbed, and then the media are all around and they want to do interviews and this, that. And I got all my shit together, and I bounced to the hotel. When you get out of that, don't you get caught up in that circus,
So that was in practice, though?
That was in practice, yeah.
Right.
Well, and they're obviously all practicing. You're all practicing alongside each other. Are you, like, what's your thought when you first land that? Are you looking back at them like you just saw?
No, I didn't even look at them. No. Just you've got a mission that you're on.
That's the champion's arrogance, though, isn't it? It's like, I know I can do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to look for, if you're impressed by it, I know you'll be impressed by it. I'm just walking off. It's that walk off KO.
With this,
It is, yeah.
Would these guys have been surprised by that?
Oh yeah. That was it.
You were the first guy to do it, weren't you?
First one, yeah, ever. So that was game over for them. For me, that's
just in your back pocket.
Yeah. So I went back and I took a cold shower back at the hotel. I just lay there on my bed. Just think about it. Just think about it and just know what. I knew exactly what I had to do. I had everything
so that's
planned
the
out.
positive visualization. Was that part of it? Like, you're memorizing everything in your head right now and thinking, then I did this, then I did that, and all the little things that you can only feel. That you can't teach that because you've experienced it.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
So, what happened the next day then?
Well, practice was like all evening, and then practice afternoon. Then the finals were that evening.
Oh, that evening.
Yeah, so only had like maybe 3-4 hours in between. So there's 3 runs and 2 to count, and I go down on my first run. On the first straight, there's 3 jumps. Everything goes perfect. And then all of a sudden I'm rolling on the other end. I'm like, I regroup, and I'm like, I'm gonna bang this straight out. And I dropped in, and there's a setup set before the last set, and I overshot it.
The setup one.
Yeah.
Is that so? Because I've watched you do this before, where it's like a little, what feels like a little hill,
gives you
like a long,
and then
low
it gives
one.
you that extra acceleration. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you overshot that.
Yeah, and I just did a straight dead sailor. And I'm like, it's all right. I got 2 more runs and 2 count, but you got to make them count. You kidding? All right. And then I dropped, and then it was my second run, and everything went perfect. And I'm back on that other rolling, and I'm regrouping at the top, and it was just like a dream. I just dropped in and nailed it. It was crazy. Yeah, it It was a surreal moment. Yeah.
So you landed it perfectly.
Yeah.
And when you did the crowd go like mental?
Oh, the place went nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
It went mental.
And all your idols at that point are also watching you.
Yeah.
And everyone else from the X Games community is watching as well.
Yeah.
You're the first man to ever do this.
In competition. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as excited as I was, and I still had to do one more run. I had to fucking nail that too. So
because I would have assumed that it was once you've done the perfect run, then you can drop the mic at that point. Do you have to do it again?
No, I got to go down again. So I do really good under pressure. I put the pressure on myself, and then I nailed that run, and then that was it. It was just and it started to set in. It's fucking crazy.
And you pull away knowing that from that third run that the gold medal is yours.
Yeah.
And everyone else knows that as well.
Yeah. Not tossing me up on the shoulder.
Mother.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I think in my book right there on
There's
the back.
There's a shot of you.
There's a shot. That's it right there.
Yeah. We can get a
close shot on.
We can get a close shot of that. We can do that.
I'll be the one.
He loves holding books up.
There you go.
You look remarkably like a YouTuber called Jake Paul.
Yeah,
who's quite famous. You're slightly better looking and slightly less of an asshole. So after that,
it is weird how much you look like this guy.
What's his name?
Jake Paul.
Jed.
Wait, I'm gonna get a photo because
I've got to see it.
There's some people watching will be going, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Brian!"
And at the same time, you just got to watch his content. It's just incredible.
No, it really isn't. But we're there, just so you know.
Say to you guys who sit around in a room. Whilst you're celebrating, because BMX, I think what people don't or maybe do understand about BMX and skateboarding and that sort of that lifestyle is that actually it's different to say football or soccer or that sort of competition. You guys are actually quite close, and there's friendships within those groups.
Oh, holy shit!
Yeah, you do look a bit like them, didn't you?
Let me see.
You got hair like my son. Haha.
Yeah.
Let me have a look again.
It's uncanny.
He just dresses like a BMX guy. I don't know if he can actually do it or not.
I don't think he dresses. He dresses like what we call in England tosser.
Is he the kid in college with a backpack and a skateboard that can't skateboard?
Yeah. We all need one of them.
So you're the gold medalist at this point.
We're going down his friendship route.
But I want to get this one bit out because I was watching this thinking to myself. All right, sorry. I watched a video interview right after this point where you said, "Yeah, I'm a kid from Newcastle riding a BMX, and now all of a sudden I'm making 15 grand a month. I've got a jacuzzi outside of the house." You became an absolute living legend at this point. You're loving life. No doubt the girls are coming over. I wish I could have been there to celebrate with you. What was it like when you became the man?
Well, right after I'd won, we partied into the night, and the next day it was amazing. But 2 weeks later, I had a competition called the Gravity Games.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It was the same as X Games at that time, just as prestigious, So I was like, man, I need, and I would hear people saying fluke, and that was a fluke.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you fuckers, all right. I'm gonna go away and I'm gonna learn something else that's never been done before. And I went away in that short time of 2 weeks. I'd be there at like midnight till like 2 a.m. By myself, with a friend, and I learnt 360 turndown backflip. So it's 3 tricks in one. So you do the flip and the 360, and you kind of wrap yourself up on your bike. And I remember I lived with at the time I lived with my friend Corey Anastadio, and I came home late, and I showed my old camcorder with the the high 8 tapes, and I was like, look what I just learned. I'm gonna go and do this at Gravity Games, and he thought I was out of my mind. So and I left that morning, 8 in the morning, and I went to where was it? Rhode Island, and yeah, it was crazy, and I landed that. This is the first time I tried it on a jump.
Yeah.
And I landed that, and I landed double flip. It was just, and it happened all over again. And I won that contest too.
And was that when the naysayers were shut the fuck up, well and truly?
Yeah. Had to silence them a little bit.
Solidified it.
Yeah, but the craziest time about that was, I partied. I was raging that night, and I met some. When you party, you end up find yourself with like random dudes that you think are super cool, and then all of a sudden, there was this kid from Boston that I got to meet, and he's a party animal though, and he was providing the fuel for the party, and
fuel for the party.
and God, it must have been like 3-4 in the morning, and I was like, right, I'm gonna drive back with this kid to Boston, and I'm gonna fly from Boston to LA, and when you've been partying and all of a sudden reality kicks in and you start to come on a bit of a come down, I got cold feet and I took my original flight, but that flight from Boston to LA was the one that went into the Twin Towers.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Fuck me, mate.
Yeah.
I tell you what, they say you shouldn't do drugs, but that fucking come down saved your bastard life, lad. Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy.
I mean, literally.
So I literally just packed my shit and bailed out, and then when I arrived in LA.
Did he get on the plane? This other guy?
No, he drove back to Boston.
Yeah.
So I was going to continue the party all the way. I'm like, I'm in party mode, and so it's crazy, it's nuts.
It's a kind of a close shave.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So when I got to LA, maybe like it might have been like a half a day, it went by, and then
so this is 2001.
Yeah.
September.
And then I hear all the news. Just
how did that feel?
Just stunned.
Kind of chilling as well, because you know you've just dodged something that is
dodged a big bullet for sure.
Yeah. But relief, but also kind of a that could have been me sort of thing, which makes it a lot closer.
Yeah. It was another thing that was nuts is my best friend. Corey Nastasio, he another professional BMXer. Right before that, he got this tattoo on his arm, and it was of the Statue of Liberty holding a bomb in a hand, and it's going up in flames. It was just weird, man. It was just eerie.
You realise how much it's changed since then. No one would tattoo that on anyone now.
No way, no.
Yeah.
No.
Do you want to
drink? Yeah.
Drink me off.
Don't mind.
Imagine that. Did you keep the tattoos?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
I thought you were going to tell a shagging story about Corey there when they said that.
Let's stop you in your tracks a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I was just fucking not expecting that. Do you know, like, I think. Do you want to talk about what I want to know
is
like because like in every walk of life, there's like the groupies and that, and I'm pretty sure the X Games had some good groupies. Was there
no women around? Not allowed any women.
What was
You weren't
that
allowed
like?
women, were you?
What was that like? Because you were a handsome bastard.
Oh, at
I
the
bet
time,
you took them up on the offer.
At the time, I mean, I was quite shy around like all of them.
Yeah.
It all came really fast. You know, I had a really cool girlfriend at the time. She kept me very grounded, yeah. And it wasn't, you know, I didn't want to do the dirty on her because she was with me before.
So
all this shit.
You wanted to take care of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So she was also from North Shields.
Nah, she's from Lamourado, California.
Okay.
And there's a couple of years that went by, and then, you know, I was like, you know, I had to let it go.
I can only reject these women for so long, like, you know.
Yeah. Temptations were everywhere. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And did you struggle with that then?
I mean, for the next like 3 years after that, 4 years, I would win more contests and I'll get a lot of like seconds, thirds. But sometimes I would be going to contests and I'd be up all night. And
before competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could get away with it and still pull off, you know, the top three. And then eventually your results started to
It caught up with you, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the money side of things? How did you handle that? Because like you were a really young lad to be on, what was it, 150 grand a year or whatever you were getting?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Yeah. How did you handle that? Because you don't seem driven by money.
Nah.
But obviously it's a necessary thing to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just, to me, money just enabled me to have fun and do things, you know. And whether, you know, I had, you know, a lot of friends around me. Well, I thought they were my friends, you know what I mean? A lot of Klingons.
Yeah, you get that, I can imagine.
And like, yes, man, you know what I mean? No one to tell me no.
People gassing you up and that.
Yeah.
And you lived in I imagine, a fancy place in somewhere.
Yeah,
where
I
in
bought
California,
a beautiful house at Corona.
Okay.
And I put a lot of money into this car. It was a Chevy Tahoe. It was like a SUV, and it had, you know, the airbags. You bounce it up and down, and all the TVs and the sound, and you know, all that.
Rims.
Oh yeah.
You were not like a typical lad from Shields. Like did any of your mates from home say the kind of life you were living, and what were they like? Or did you sort of lose track of them after you went big?
No. I would always go back to Newcastle. Yeah, just still very the same, you know. But yeah, you don't realize that you've got all them yes men around you, all the Klingons, and until shit's going downhill.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing them drop off.
So you don't want to believe that. I don't think anyone wants to believe that someone's their friend for any other reason than genuine reasons.
Yeah, especially when you're in the fire and you're in the moment and you're there, and this is gradually happening in front of your eyes, but you can't see it.
Were you a bit naive? Do you think you were a bit like, because you were a young guy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I got taken advantage of big time by a lot of different people.
Can you remember any ways in particular where people would take the piss?
One in particular, yeah, very well. Because at the time I was partying like crazy, man, and I was at my girlfriend's house at the time, and she had lent money out to this guy, and he worked in he would deal with high-end cars, like, you know, Ferraris and all that type of stuff, and he would use her money to get the cars, sell them, and then, you know, give her the whatever percentage profit, and it was solid. She would make a lot of money to this guy, and and at the time, I'd been partying for like 3-4 days. I was awake that long. All right. And I wanted to sell. I had a big lifted truck too, but I wanted to get rid of them both and just get a car, you know. All right. So when the guy came, I just wanted to sign whatever it was, the contract to sell cars. You know, I could barely even see the freaking paper or whatever was written on it.
Wow.
I was seeing like 5 different papers. Why do I sign, you know? And so I signed that, and I left the registration, the pink slip in my glove box. And one of the cars is totally paid off. Mm-hmm. The other one I had a small loan with. Anyway, so this guy took my cars, and he told me that he'd sold them after about 3 weeks. And I went to meet him over the next 6 months. I went to meet him 9 different times. I traveled from Corona to Newport Beach, about an hour and a half, and he just wouldn't show up. And then all of a sudden I'm just like,
shit. All
right, so everything started to focus on trying to find this guy. You know, everything else took a backseat.
Fuck BMX and I'm gonna nail this bastard.
Yeah, he's gonna have it. All right. So while I mean, it got to a point to where I got a private investigator to find out where this guy was.
And this
you just had money to waste.
I'm in these shops like ex-detectives, spy equipment and stuff, and I'm like, shit, fucking no interest in the shop, but apart from, you know, my car, I'm like, I wouldn't be here. I'll never be in these shops. And so the guy found out what happened to my car, where it was. And so that the car salesman, he got my car, and within 2 days it got transferred 3 times. So he sold it, and I sold it for 54 grand, and he went and sold it cash for 27 grand to a car dealership.
Okay.
Then the car dealership transferred it to another car dealership. It was a ring of people that were in on this shit.
Yeah.
And then it got 4 weeks later, it got sold to Phoenix, Arizona, to some guy there. So I'm like, right, so where does this guy live? What's the route from the airport to his house? What's the route from his house to his work? You know, I knew everything about this guy. And I would, you know, I'm like, what am I doing? You know, I'm just on a goose chase.
Yeah.
And so one morning, me and my dad would fly out to Phoenix super early, like 5 o'clock. And we'd get to this, we'd drive to this guy's house. He lives in a massive mansion. It's massive. And I'm waiting outside there. I'm just like, please just roll out my car, please. You know. And the garage door opens up, and I just see my baby roll out of there. I hear the airbags, and I'm just like, did I put a lot of work into this? And I went to get out the car. I mean, it was just everything boiled over, and I wanted to, you know, get my car, yeah. At all costs. And now Dad's like, son, he's like, be patient. He's like, just chill. So we followed the guy to his work, and he worked at a real estate company. So he got out the car, and I still had the bleeper to open it up. So I hit the alarm, and it opened it up. I'm like, yeah. So I get in my car, you know, just the smell, just everything about it. I was like, oh man. And so I drove to the GM dealership, and I went to get a key cut for my car. And when I gave the switch to him, the alarm and, you know, my registration and all that stuff, he went away, and he came back about 5 minutes later, and he's like your registration's 2 days expired. I can't get you a key. Unbelievable. So I go back to the guy's workplace, and I go into his workplace, and he's the boss, and I just knocked on his door, and I'm like, I need 30 minutes of your time. I'm like, it's about your car. And sat down with him, and he was just the innocent guy on the end of a crooked ass ring. And went through everything with him, and I went through the whole story. I went all the paperwork, and I was just like, I'm like, that's not my signature. I'm like, it's not, But in the end, there's nothing I could do.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. So I spent a lot of wasted energy. And then when I got back to California, I was like, dude, I just gotta let it go.
Yeah.
I gotta just let that shit go.
Wow.
Sometimes you gotta let it go.
You're quite an obsessive person as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's be that is part of your success. Is constantly being able to drive your mind to make you achieve whatever you set your mind to.
Yeah.
On this one, you had to just admit defeat.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So how
and then
long?
You gotta let it go, and then I just use that as motivation to just do better.
Earn more money, buy a new car.
Yeah.
How long into this career at BMX did you meet your future wife?
I was 24.
Okay.
24.
So this was 4 years after you won your first world title.
Yeah.
And how many had you won in that intervening time? Had you won all 3 X Games by that point?
3 X Games and Gravity Games. Yeah. And and then I bought this massive house, and it built my dream yard, jumps all around it, full pipes made out of wood, just shit you dream of, and you just make it become reality. And I was living the dream for sure.
That's actually what I wrote down when I was researching your life. I just thought living the dream. You were like a young lad just doing what he loved and partying and having a great time, earning a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
So what was the relationship like with her then? Because you seemed like go off.
Well, it was. I thought it was great at the time, but we would party together, which was just terrible. It was not a good relationship for sure. She'd be taking these prescription tablets, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even.
Is that how you met? Just partying and that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was all out at the party. She was taking these painkillers and told me, that they just helped me get through my day. I'm like, I'll take a couple of them, see how they are, try it out, and I didn't think of a big thing about it. And then all of a sudden, I'm taking these things every day, and it just got crazy. You're getting them from shady doctors, from people.
What were the tablets?
They were called Norcos. They're like hydrocodone tablets. And
what feeling did you get from them?
just like content. You're just content and energized. And then got to a point of where I'd be taking other tablets and see what they're like, and just experimenting, and then it got to that point to where I woke up on my kitchen floor, and and my mom, my granddad was coming to California, and it got that bad at the time that I didn't pick them up. I sent a limo to pick them up.
Okay.
Wrong move.
Yeah.
And
Did they know?
They didn't know at the time, so I was trying to pull myself together, and they came in. I was just laid on my floor, just watching TV, just, you know, they could tell just straight away.
Yeah.
And I tried to shake it off like it's not a big deal, and yeah, it was a big deal.
And was your granddad someone you sort of respected and looked up to?
100%, yeah.
So
was an amazing guy. Yeah, so it was just it was shameful, you know. And I knew who I was, the core, and it was time to hop on that horse again, yeah.
Stop.
And just leave all that shit behind.
So you'd just been sort of doing the drugs. You hadn't really been practicing much in that time. Hadn't really been doing much.
Nah, you know what? It got to a point to where I'd be looking at my bike. I was like, fuck. What? No interest in even wanting to ride it.
Yeah.
I just wanted like a normal life.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted. I just wanted to have a normal job. I didn't want to do that anymore.
Was that because you'd sickened yourself because you put thousands of hours into this, or is it the drugs?
Yeah, well, you know what? I think it's a combination of both, because you know I'd achieved so much, and I'd been doing it since I came out my nappies, and so I got burnt out at the same time.
Yeah,
it was a combination of being burnt out. All the partying and the consumption of, drugs and stuff. And then when I picked myself back up, I just remembered what my bread and butter was and what I really loved to do. And I found a new love for riding BMX again. And I started to, the first couple of weeks, it was hard. It really was hard.
Did you think that you lost a step?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I felt like shit riding my bike again. But I just kept pushing through.
Was the fitness just not there?
Nah. I've been lifting weights, and I was quite big at that point. I got to 220 pounds.
Fucking hell, that's like 16 stone.
Which is also not
on a BMX. Terrible, man.
Which, in your peaks, you must have been about 3 stone lighter than that? Maybe
I was
more.
187.
Right,
187 pounds.
So you'd have been naturally like 13 stone guy, and then you've gone up there.
Yeah. And I'd see a video of myself riding. It's like, oh man, that's not happening.
Yeah.
But then, I had to also shake all the weight off, and that took a lot of time.
Surely BMX helps. It's quite good cardio, though. It helps you.
Yeah, sort of absolutely. Yeah. You're out there riding in 90 degrees to 100 degrees weather.
Yeah. You sweat it all off.
The good thing is I'm just pounding so much water and to clean my system out pretty quick. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, you start to feel it coming again. You start to be in the moment when you're on your bike, rather than just being on your bike. Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I've never achieved anything like what you do, but I can relate it to weightlifting, because there's days I'll go into the gym and I feel like shit and I feel weak as piss, and then there's other days where I feel like I can just grip the bar and do whatever the fuck I want to it, and I'm just untouchable. And was it a similar sort of state of mind that you were in, like, oh, I'm on now, this is it? Yeah,
the confidence started coming in, and because when you can't make the bike do what you want to do, that's not a cool feeling for me. Like, I like to be in the moment, in control, feeling it, like feeling the bike. Not just being on it, but being a part of it, being one, everything at one. And I just started to get better and better and better. And
how much of what you were, that you look at some champions, whether they be football, boxing, whatever, there's some guys who are like naturally just born to do it, and then there's some guys who aren't genetically gifted, but they work hard and they make that up and overcome it. What percentage would you say was natural and hard work? Hard work all the way.
Yeah. I wasn't, you've got these gifted people like, John Jones in fighting, or in BMX, or a guy Dylan Clayton, or extreme amount of talent these people have, and it's quite often that you find in sport that the most talented people are the most wasteful, and it's very rare that you get extreme talent and hard work combining together.
The ones who are gifted it, they don't appreciate it as much.
Then you produce like a Floyd Mayweather. That's that. All right. But with me, I don't think I was naturally talented at it. I just rode my ass off and had fun doing it.
You know, in terms of getting married, what was it? Because you were very, very young to get married, weren't you? 25, yeah.
That's
pretty young. When you're what was the reason for that? Was there
that was what I wanted. Well, growing up, having parents that are divorced and all the crap that comes along the line with that, I wanted to have the perfect.
What kind of crap came along with that? And
your parents are split up, and then there's it's arguments between them, and you here, you there, you just.
Do you find that quite difficult when you were younger?
Well, the good thing about in my situation was I had my bike, and all of that loss was I just put it all into my bike, and I would just. I'd just ride and ride and ride.
Did you ride between the houses? Did you go from parent to parent on your bike?
No, I live with my mom. I'll go down and visit my dad too. But yeah, I always had my bike, and so from when I was 14 to 18, I lived with just my mom, and I knew where I wanted to be, and that was in the sunshine, riding my bike in California.
So the reason you got married, apart from the fact that you'd met a girl who you obviously really like, but in the back of your head is, I don't want to do what my parents did. I want to be with someone who is that forever. Yeah. And that was the honest intentions.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that you just partied with her, you thought that was the right route to go down.
Right. Yeah. I wanted that normalness. Yeah.
And did she offer
a house, cars, dirt jumps, all around, kids.
And
that was everything. That was everything for me. I don't know.
Okay.
At the time, you thought that was your plan together.
Yeah.
And you had kids not long after that, yeah.
Nah, yeah.
Because they were. I think they were. I watched a video of them and.
Yeah, it was literally like 6 months after I met her, pretty much.
Quickly, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're now this young, successful man, got a couple of kids, like you're happy. What was it like when you first had the boys, the two lads that you've got?
Oh man, when I met Melissa, she had a son already.
Right.
He was a year when I first met him, and then I started to, be around him more and more and more. And then when he was 2, I just moved them both in with me, and then I had Mason married, and then Mason came along, and that was.
Were you would you say you were a good dad?
I think so. Yeah.
Sort of came naturally to you.
Yeah. I mean, we're all human. We all make mistakes. When no one's.
Yeah.
But
you felt quite like a paternal father.
Some men,
100%.
Some men shit the bed when they become dads, but like judging by the video I've seen of you, just straight in there naturally.
Yeah.
And there were no sort of drugs at that point. You cleaned up.
At which point?
When you had your kids.
After having kids.
Yeah. You were both clean. You were both clean at that point. Yeah.
Did it make you grow up?
Not straight away. It still took a line, and that was the thing, is the guilt of partying.
Yeah.
And having 2 beautiful little human beings that you're responsible for. It's like the guilt was tremendous, man.
Did you look at them the day after and things and think, I'm letting you down?
Yeah, I would feel terrible, man.
Yeah.
I feel terrible. You know.
Did they make you grow up, generally, do you think?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, you know, what happened was, you know, the sponsors started to dry up. You know, so all of a sudden, you barely, you know, you got 1 or 2 sponsors where you had 10 before.
Is that because you weren't achieving on the
Exactly,
track?
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, it got out there a little bit. You know, I was a little bit wild and adventurous.
But your responsibility as a man at that point is to provide for this family, and then you're like, I'm fucking letting them down.
Right, so that's when I wanted to just get a normal job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of normal job did you want?
I didn't mind really doing anything.
Right.
I'd do anything, just
Why a
whatever
normal
would
job?
support.
Why though?
Just because I'd done this all my life at this point, and I couldn't see how that, you know, when you lose your support and sponsors, it's like you go into like almost not desperation mode, but like you know, I started growing a lot of weed in my house.
To sell or to smoke?
To make money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, to provide for my family. And you know, in California it's legal now.
But it wasn't then.
It wasn't then, but it was a slap on the wrist, you know. And I had a crazy operation in my house.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it was.
How much money would you say you were making off of that? Like,
dude, I'd probably say off my first one, 14 grand. Off my first one.
of your first batch.
First batch.
Uh-huh.
But then as soon as I'd done my first batch, you see, there would be, okay, here come the Mexicans.
That's actually what we're going to call the podcast.
All right.
We've had a few people talk about Mexicans on the show for the same reason.
Yeah, they seem like fun. So here come the Mexicans.
Yeah, so there'd be the Klingons, you know, and you know they would look at us and see how they could latch on and mooch onto our lifestyle.
Right.
And so then what they would do is a couple of them would have it. You know, they'd be drug dealers, and they would get houses, like maybe, you know, a couple of miles from mine, and then they would have a fake yard put up, like dirt jumps around the house, copy what setup that I have, or try to, and they can do a good job of it. But to the normal person, I guess, you know, that's their cover, you know.
Can I just say, that's really unusual behaviour, isn't it? I've never thought, like, for you, I don't think, I'm going to go and buy a set of weights to impress Brian.
You've not noticed people copying us?
No,
like, almost
I've
to
noticed,
the exact.
I've noticed people copying, but what I do find unusual is building jumps in your own back garden, especially as I'm assuming they don't have bikes.
Nah.
Yeah. Mate, I've just built some jumps in my back garden. Why? Well, I just love they're beautiful features.
They're emulating you. They're trying to as a cover.
And what do they say? Would they sort of call you and be like, "Do you want to come around my house and sort of do some jumps?"
Oh yeah, they were just in it for the money, man.
Can I just
that was their way of living the lifestyle, you know.
And were they what people would consider sort of stereotypical
Mexican drug lords?
Yeah. What was that one?
Mexican drug lords. Like, were they sort of stereotypical?
BMX. I could do a wheelie.
It's not the accent they have. But were they sort of stereotypical? What people would imagine when they think of it?
I think they're slightly cooler than that.
Yeah.
Right.
El Chapo's not very cool, like, is he?
You don't let him in.
So can I just ask? You were obviously used to a very large amount of money coming in from the sponsors. and you become accustomed to that kind of lifestyle. So when you said I was going to get a normal job, I did think to myself, going from 150 grand a year or whatever you ended up at your top level to a normal salary,
especially a starting wage.
Yeah, it would have been very hard. So was that part of it why you started growing the weed, because it's going to bring a lot of money in?
Yeah, exactly.
As well?
Yeah. But what happened? So after my first batch,
right, the first batch,
I heard that an acquaintance, I wouldn't call him a friend, who had the whole setup, the big cover. His house got busted.
Wow.
And I was like, all right,
shit,
I'm fucking next, because look, I'm a duplicate. He's a duplicate. What I've got going on? So I just ripped everything down, bro. That was it. I was ripped everything down, and that was the end of my,
Breaking Bad style.
Yeah.
So you had all the lights up, like,
and that, so I went through all these wrong avenues that I realized in the end, that I was making stupid decisions, and that was when I started to throw it all back into my bike again.
Right.
It always comes back to the bike.
Yeah.
For the third time.
Yeah.
Third-ish time.
Yeah.
You also said you're religious, or you say a prayer. Would you say you actually are religious, or would you?
Yeah, I believe in God.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so it sounds a lot like you sort of strayed from the path of what most, sort of kids who are brought up religious.
Yeah,
believe.
that typical. I'm not. That's not me. For me, I feel like that everyone has the. If you believe in something, then you have your own relationship with what you believe in. Mm-hmm. It's not someone else's relationship or how you should be to believe in the same thing. Mm-hmm. Nah, it's a personal relationship, and I'm not really too outspoken about it, or it's what I believe in. That's it. Yeah.
Do you want to stop for a drink, a polo or something, mate?
Yeah. Sweet.
Right. How long are we going?
1 hour 50.
1 hour what?
50. 50.
Fuck, I know.
It feels very quick.
It does go quickly, doesn't it? Especially when you're the one getting questioned a lot of the time. I've noticed that. Yeah,
and with these bright lights, it feels a lot more like a police interrogation than a sort of,
Which is ironically what you nearly ended up getting.
Yeah.
Do you want a polo out, mate?
Yeah, Chris, can you get me one? Do you ever watch Narcos?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard all about it, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm definitely going to.
Incredible.
It's good.
Is it on Netflix?
I've not watched. I've not watched series 3 yet.
It's a new series.
I have. Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Is it all in
Brilliant.
Mexican?
No, it's half in.
Oh.
Half subtitle, yeah.
Because he's dead now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So in series
fucking
2.
hell.
Spoiler.
Are you fucking joking?
You know that
such a cockhead. Honestly.
No, you know that he dies.
You're a fucking I don't have a clue, do I?
Yeah,
I haven't watched it yet.
No, it's not Game
Just
of
stop
Thrones.
telling us things about it, right? I'm going to watch
It's
it.
about a drug dealer who's dead.
Dealer.
It's about his story.
Dealer.
Kirsty, where you going?
Harry.
Just
Alright.
So that was the thing is I started to see what was going on with every other drug dealer that I knew.
And you were next.
And that's, you're going to get killed or you're going to end up in jail. And that's two places I don't want to be.
Yeah. So you go back to the bike.
Yep, back to the bike, back to the basics, but
But that's what you were good at. So I'm surprised you ever steered away from it in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because you're going. I know you said you were more hard work, but at that point, that was what you were good at in life.
What was the aim of going back to the bike? Because if all your sponsors have dried up, was your aim to get back in with those guys and start to?
Well, the thing is when I went back into it full swing, all that followed was, like you just go and ride and ride your best, and love what you're doing and just you have the passion, you have the drive, everything else comes behind it.
Right.
So that will all come. And yeah, I wasn't worried about that.
You knew that route back in because
Yeah.
you'd been
Success
Yeah.
breeds all of that as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So was this the final? Are we now on the sort of run up to the crash that you had?
Yeah.
Now this is where you sort of double down and you say, right, I'm going to make a good go of this now.
And how long
Yep.
was that time?
How long was what time?
How long was the time from when you decided to pick back
Start
up
again.
to when you started competing again? And
6 months.
okay.
5 months.
So from quitting the dealing to the crash was that 5-6 months?
Yeah.
All right, so that wasn't
Yeah.
a long time at all then, was it?
No.
And looking back on it, do you? I guess I'm wondering, do you put any of the crash down to maybe taking time off, or is there any explanation that you've got for it in your head that might have been the journey that we've sat and listened to here, that you can pinpoint anything, or was it just a freak accident?
Oh, absolute freak accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Complete freaking, and my foot just slipped off.
Mm-hmm.
When you rotating that fast, it's so much. There's so many G's in there, you know.
Fucking right.
Just whoosh. See you later.
But you said you were feeling the best,
Yeah, I never felt better on my bike.
which is incredible, really.
Yeah.
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 That must be a pretty empowering feeling.
Yeah, just to know that, you know, like if anyone's listening, if anyone is at a point in their life where they're down in the dumps and they're burnt out, or you just, you know, you just got no drive in anything, that, you know, you can't pick yourself back up again and get yourself back on top.
I guess that's what I take a lot from your story, mate, is you had a lot of times where you could have just given up, and you never have. Even after the accident, you still find new things. You're always going.
Yeah.
Do you think your mentality is quite a unique one? Because it doesn't sound like one that you kind of come across every day.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
I mean, do you consider yourself to be the same as everyone else? Or like, do you just think this is something?
So. I think so.
I don't think you are, mate. Nah. I meet a lot of people, and I meet a lot of successful people, and I don't know how many people would have the state of mind you've got. Like recently we had Eddie Hall on, who was like the world's strongest man, and he reminds me of you in a way, because he's the type who he wants to do things that have never been done before.
Right.
And that's very much in post-crash, beforehand, the tricks you wanted to do were never done before, you know what I mean? But
That's what it's all about, yeah.
if you take someone's sort of superpower away from them in an instance, I don't know how many people would be able to just change into something completely different and find something totally different.
Yeah. You know what was crazy is after the third day of being in that trauma unit,
Yeah.
I opened my eyes and there's these two guys next to me, sat down next to me. One like weird, like mad scientist looking guy, and the other guy, probably about 50.
These are the doctors, are they?
Well, the thing was absolutely bizarre is the guy that looked like the mad scientist was Christopher Reeve's doctor.
Wow.
And he worked with Christopher for 8 years, and the guy next to him was the world's first fully recovered quadriplegic. So that was just like, and they're comparing the MRIs, and it's like strikingly similar.
Right.
And so it was just, and these guys were just like, I mean, it's right there in front of me. It's possible, you know? So that was just great motivation, man. I mean, very lucky that, you know, I had that
Superman's
vision.
doctor, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I mean, you had a 1% chance, and you made it.
Yeah.
How does that feel, to be in that 1%?
Sometimes it feels sometimes it feels like, you see where this injury comes up. You see someone that's paralyzed, and that's all you see. You don't see all the other complications and health things that come with it. The pneumonias, the urinary tract infections, the sores. It's just
there's a lot more than just not being able to move physically.
Yeah,
there's a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, and even though I can't really feel below my shoulders, I became very much more aware of my body. And that doesn't really make too much sense because I can't feel it. But I'm very aware of where my limbs are, where they're positioned, making sure that I'm not going to get any, stay away from all these health complications. I mean, Christopher Reeve, he died of a bed sore. Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But, so...
Do you think you've become a more conscious person?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm picking up from you, like.
Yeah.
Because the man who's made all of these silly decisions in the past, I don't think you'd make any of them now.
Nah, no way.
You know what I mean?
No, I gotta do everything, just to be there for my kids, I mean, I got, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So the man who recovered, who was sitting next to you, you said they're comparing the MRIs.
Right.
How long and what process did he go through to recover, and sort of how similar is your situation to his?
His whole life, like 30 years, 35 years.
And that sort of gives you an element of hope that there's a recovery process.
That's the thing is everyone's entitled to hope.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that you've got when you in the trauma units and flatline and blah blah is the hope. You always got the hope, and the doctors will come in. Like when I first got hurt, they came in to see my family, and they're like, "Your son's not gonna be able to sit up again. He's gonna be breathing on a respirator for his whole life." It's just like Christopher Reeve. And that broke my family down, but I was like, no, that's not the way I'm going to be. It's not, doctors can't dictate the way it's going to be. There's always miracles that happen. No, there's not always miracles, but there are miracles that happen that doctors can't explain it. And that, to me, that God-given miracles that just happens on His time and not yours. So, I've engaged myself in rehabilitation since my accident, like non-stop. And at the beginning, I thought it'd be like going into a gym and I'm gonna fucking lift some weights and I'm gonna, grind my teeth and, just make it happen. Slow, man. It's snail slow.
Can you give us an idea of what it was like on day one and what it's like for you now by comparison?
Well, the first bit of rehabilitation I did was weaning off the ventilator, like coming off it for. So when they first brought me off it, I lasted 20 seconds.
I was thinking that would scare the shit out of me.
Man, it's the worst. It's the worst, man.
Yeah.
And then you're back on the vent. So it's like, and then you get to like.
What were you doing when they first took the ventilator off you? How did you react?
Just trying to breathe.
Yeah.
Trying to breathe, and then they they're monitoring you very closely, and then they'll see when you're getting into trouble, and they'll put you back on. And then I built up to 50 seconds, and then it was a minute, and then 2 minutes, and then 4 minutes, and it then start to get more and more. But at the same time, you're getting getting a little something, and then boom, smack back down. Back to the death grip. All right. And then eventually I got up to 18 hours off. And then my carbon dioxide level built up so high that I went all the way back down to 2. Man. That was just
like climbing a fucking ladder and then just falling right back to the bottom again.
It was smacky back down there.
Yeah.
So that was the first bit of, so that was then when I realized, it's gonna be a fucking long haul.
Was it, like all of the training you did for the BMX and that, and although it's a totally different sort of objective that you've got to take on here, was that training yourself to do one thing? You used to training yourself. In a way, it's sort of, your mind is kind of built for this shit.
Fall off your bike, get back on.
I think everything in my life leading up to this was fucking designed for,
that's what it feels
getting
like.
through what I'm getting through.
Yeah.
So and then the next thing was like just sitting up out of bed, just straight sitting up. As soon as I came up past 45 degrees, I'd pass out. And so then you had to learn to build that up. It's just very small increments. And my dad explained it to me in the beginning, and I didn't really understand what he's talking about, but I get it now. He's like, son, he said, you're like a flower. And he's like, you get the seed and you plant it. It doesn't grow very quickly. It takes some time, but if you water it, you give it you give it all the things it needs to grow. Slowly but surely, like it'll grow. And he's like, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Take some strength from a dad to say that to his son who's going through that. What's your relationship with him like now?
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
And
I don't live with my, I see my mom every day. Or I see my dad every couple of weeks or something.
So that was what it was like then. And has all the work you've put in really made a massive difference to your life, would you say? Like, because I don't know, like you're sitting in front of us now, are there ever times you need to be put back on the ventilator these days?
No.
So that's it.
You know what, one time, because like when I go to sleep at night, or when I would go to sleep at night, your breathing shallows down, doesn't it?
Big
so
time.
Your oxygen saturation goes down, but at the same time as that going down, you've got your carbon dioxide levels build up because you can't, I couldn't expel the carbon dioxide and breathe it out. So one morning I woke up and the nurse was there, and we're doing little exercises, and she said that I wasn't making much sense, and I got up that day and I was in the chair, and I have like a phone stand, and the phone sits in front of me, and I use like a little mouth stylus to operate the phone, and the carbon dioxide poisoned my whole body and brain so much that I couldn't. I was trying to call my dad, and I was trying so hard, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then the next thing, I woke up on a ventilator, and I got the death grip again, and it's shit's down my throat, and I can't talk, I can't do anything. It's like, Jesus help, it's bad. And then I spent 18 hours on that, because I had also got pneumonia at the time, really bad. And then I spent 2 weeks fighting through that. Yeah, so I made it again. And
you are a fighter, mate, aren't you?
Yeah, you gotta be in you. Yeah. So back to the guy that was sat next to me with the scientist guy. His name's Patrick Romerfield. He's an amazing guy. The things that he has conquered, the triathlons and the feats that he's taken on, like this has made him a much stronger, much more rounded guy, and I try to be like that guy.
Well, you've achieved something in this book as well.
Yeah.
You've written your whole life story so that other people can read about your journey.
Yeah.
It's called Staying Strong. I think it was an easy title.
Yeah.
You said that you wrote this over 6 months, 5 hours every day.
Yeah.
5 hours Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Just dictating?
Yeah, I would regurgitate it out of my mouth, and then my friend Lee Martin, my best friends, he just wrote it all down, and then the ghostwriter, John McDonald, he'll make it read properly, you know.
One little story I found interesting from one of your friends, who was one of the BMX lads, was that after the crash, you got a phone call from David Beckham.
Oh yeah.
What was that like? Was that a surprise? Or?
Yeah, I was in the gym. I was doing rehabilitation, and there's some commotion, and they're like, "Oh, somebody's on the phone for you." And I just thought it was one of my mates. I'm like, and I used my rehabilitation time was precious to me, so it's like, I'll get it later. You know, I'm like, I'm working out. That's it. And then they come back again, and I, fuck them off again. And then I realized that, somebody who was important, I had to take the call. When I got to the room, my friend at the time, Kimmery, she passed me the phone and put it to my ear. I was like, hello? And he's like, oh, hi, Stephen. It's David Beckham. I'm like, fuck off. So it was just in, I was in disbelief.
Yeah.
And he was so cool, man. Like, we chatted for a good 20 minutes, half an hour. And someone that famous that he's in the Super League of his own, to take time to notice what's going on, and then to spend time talking to me and signing things for me, and it's pretty amazing. He's a special dude for sure.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve with this book? What is the goal?
Well, the number one goal for that is that I want people to be able to extract from that positivity and the power of what it can do. And then if there are millions of people out there that are paralyzed, also they can learn from this and gain from this and mold themselves into being a better person, and to remember that, if you think you got nothing left, reach inside and dig deeper. And there's always something you can find. Yeah.
You're a fucking inspiration, mate. Appreciate you coming down. Have you got any more questions?
It's been good to chat to you.
Well, let me get a drink real quick, and I gotta touch on something.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Don't worry about that. Got all the time in the world, pal.
Yeah,
You alright, mate?
Yeah.
No worries, mate. Take your time. Appreciate you bringing this down, mate. Is that if I keep it?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah.
That's such a fucking class shot.
Some good pictures in there, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, that one was that one you got your page open
The
it?
crash.
Yeah, the one, yeah. It's fucking pretty gnarly, huh? You can see all the dirt on my back where I crashed. The double flip before it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people just watching in the background.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen the. I've never watched a video of the actual crash. On the videos, it always sort of puts it out.
Yeah, it got pulled.
To be honest, it's not something I really need to see anyway.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I had to see that. I had to see the crash because I want to know how I'm like this.
Yeah, I would want to see it if I was you for sure, because I want to know exactly what happened.
You know, people, why do you want to see the crash? Well, I just want to see what I did wrong and what went wrong. You know what I mean?
When we do the preview, would you rather us not show it or kind of show part of it and cut that bit off?
No, I don't mind.
Are you not? All right.
Yeah. Sure.
Just rather ask you, mate, just so I know what's best.
Yeah, cool.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Or?
Yeah, I just want to touch on my fiance real quick.
Yeah, great.
It's quite special. So when I was about 22, I went to Florida with my best friend, and I met a girl called Erica. You know, we just instantly was like, you know, I love this girl. So then I flew her back out to California, and I liked this girl so much, but I knew that I was in my prime on my bike, and
it wasn't the right time.
It wasn't the right timing at all. Mm-hmm. And maybe about 5-6 years after my accident.
Because what we haven't said, I don't think, is that you got divorced from the mother of your children. Yeah. About 5-6 years after my accident, she got in contact with me, and then she came out, and with the 2 kids, Chance and Brooklyn, and she didn't see me any different, and that's so huge to me, because you don't see she don't care about all the material stuff, you know, and then, dude, I fell in love, and it was difficult because she lived in Florida, and she has 2 children, and I lived in California, and at the time I'd got a really bad pneumonia. Yeah.
And it was really sketchy. My carer had left too, and I was looking after my 2 kids. I've had them full custody for 6 years.
All right. So you're their primary carer.
Yeah, and so I knew then I needed help. You know, I tried to do this all by myself with the help of others, but I needed family at this point, you know. And you know, my dad he came across, God, so many times, man, to help me out.
Yeah.
And then you know, I just decided that I was torn between going to Florida and going back to England. Just didn't, you know, you want to be with the person you love, but at the same time, I got to deal with my current situation.
And your sons are the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we spent a year apart, and then God, it was only like, you know, we started talking maybe like 4 months ago, and she came over. She came over a month ago for a couple of weeks. Yeah. And then we're back on again. Yeah, it's amazing.
So I'm going to proposed, yeah?
Not yet.
Are you going to?
I'm going to redo that one.
Good man. Yeah. Good man. Well, I'm really happy for you, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm sure everyone who's watching is as well, because one thing that is crystal clear to me is you're a really good human being. You're a good bloke.
Thanks, man.
Honestly, and I hope this gan's fantastically well.
Yeah.
Best of luck on that. I'll put the link in the description below, so anyone who wants to buy it can just click straight on it from this video.
Fantastic, man.
And one question I like to end it with.
Yeah.
How would you like to be remembered, mate?
I'd like to be remembered as someone that can make the impossible possible, and I'm still yet to do that. But yeah, it's gonna happen.
Best of luck, mate. I'm sure if anyone can do it, it's probably you. Right.
Thanks, man.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. All the links to Stephen's social media will be there, and the book. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.
Peace.
Nice one.